Greetings from the last best place, the state of Montana. We're going to talk about the genre that my group, the Slutty Bookworms, chose to research a little bit during this class. But first, let's hear from a few people around town and what they like about books.
What do you want me to say?
What makes a good book?
Human interest.
Okay.
So everybody wants in a book is human interest. Doesn't mean you have to know exactly what the characters in the book are going through, but you want to find out what they're going through, maybe to learn from them, or maybe just to laugh at them or cry. But human interest is what makes a good book, and you can't just write a book without human interest, really, unless you're writing crap like Wuthering Heights.
What makes a good book?
I think a good book is something that sparks someone's interest. They have to relate to it in some way, either in the character and something that relates to you, or the storyline in going through something that you've gone through it and connect with, or in connecting in a way that you've never experienced but you're intrigued by. So a story has to pull you in some way, either by relating to something that you've experienced or something that you want to experience or something that has always intrigued you.
What makes a good book?
Not only a page-turner, but a compelling character and or storyline, something you could relate to and imagine yourself in that situation as well. And a little romance never hurts.
A good book is something in which I can relate to, something that holds my interest for more than just 50 pages, and something that is suspenseful in the subject.
What makes a good book?
In addition to lengthy character development throughout a book, I also appreciate a surprise ending on some level. I happen to be a visual learner, and if a printed word creates pictures in my mind, it has been a success.
What makes a good book?
When I don't want to stop reading after page 100.
My group, the Slutty Bookworms, decided to research the genre of realistic fiction. We combined a few definitions from off the internet, and this is what we got. We chose to define realistic fiction as being imaginative writing that accurately reflects life and could realistically happen to people living in today's world. This genre is relatively popular due to its ability to take the reader and show them that the challenges and experiences they face are the same challenges and experiences that these characters face. The purpose of these books is to entertain the reader, but also to enlighten the reader. They also help the reader to understand problems and issues that they encounter in their own specific life. A few qualities that realistic fiction books have are specific to character, setting, and the characters should be imaginary but seem real and behave in realistic ways. They should be true to life. The characters should be confronted with realistic challenges and experiences that the reader personally can relate to. In regards to setting, the story usually takes place in the present. All things like time period, location, setting, weather, season, they're all specific to the novel. For example, the author placed the novel or book in the season of fall for a specific reason. Now, the plot. The plot is very important to realistic fiction. The plot is a very important quality in realistic fiction. The plot should engage the reader in realistic challenges and experiences that they can relate to. The plot should be true, vivid to life, and have different forms of conflict. Conflict such as conflict between two characters, and also conflict between the character and themselves. The events and characters in these stories should be realistic so that the reader can relate to the story. Some key publishers for realistic fiction include Atria, Ballantine Bantamdale, Penguin, Random House, Pearson, and HarperCollins. There is a huge list of realistic fiction books. Some books are placed on the realistic fiction list, but they're also placed in other genres as well. For example, The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger is both a realistic fiction book, but it's also a classical book. Also, realistic fiction books are often made into movies as well, because if the reader can relate to the character and plot so well on paper, they can probably relate to the character and plot on the TV screen as well. Here are some outstanding realistic fiction books. All of these books have been made into a movie. Which books have you read and also seen the movie for? The Perks of Being a Wallflower, Holes, The Diary of a Wimpy Kid, To Kill a Mockingbird, The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, The Help, Where the Red Fern Grows, Water for Elephants, Old Yeller, The Last Song, Because of Winn-Dixie, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, and My Sister's Keeper. One realistic fiction book that hasn't quite been made into a movie yet is 50 Shades of Grey. Stay tuned. Our group chose to read a novel by Jodi Picoult titled The Storyteller, which was published in March of 2013. Jodi Picoult has published 20 novels, publishing a new novel each year. The majority of Picoult's novels have made it onto a bestsellers list of some sorts. The Storyteller is currently on New York Times bestsellers list. Now, it's time for me to sign off in Montana and hand the reins over to another one of the girls to continue talking about realistic fiction and Jodi Picoult's novel, The Storyteller. Bye!